Welcome everyone to the next episode of Unisharks podcast. It's me, Hammer. I am hosting today, of course, with my two buddies, Lemon and Mako.
Yay!
Hello.
We'll try to enjoy this episode, but we're also going to be watching our time as well, because we also have some plans. But we'll try to do a full episode as much as we can. We'll start right off with Mako, let's have you. Do we want to describe the meme of the week for us, please?
Okay, so this one says, "My class when Kahoot music," and it shows a scene from Avatar, the blue people, not the Last Airbender. So they're all gathered around the tree and they're like having a little spiritual rave, flashing lights and colors. So yeah, pretty accurate.
I think the scene's like sped up or something like that. It just makes it.
Oh
funny.
yeah.
And then we have a little honorable mention. We have another buddy of ours in our group chat that we share our memes. And he shared one that we appreciated. If you want to talk about that there, Lemon.
So this guy's looking through. He's browsing through Tinder profiles, and this really over the top woman profile. She's like 19 years old. She's like an ideal woman. I don't even know what it said. I own like 19 bikes with like flames on them, and I don't know, just like it's really bizarre. Like not bizarre, but I should say, but just over the top, like masculine 19-year-old girl. And this dude's like reading off the list, and at the end he's like, "Mommy," or something like that, and I don't know, just gave off what's the word? It gave off like tomboy vibes, like super hardcore. So I thought that's pretty funny. Oh yeah, another thing on the list was that I want to find a nice compact man to like ride on the motorcycle with me and so I could look cool. And the guy was like, "Mommy." Then I was like, "Oh,
Nice compact man."
Nice comeback.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's not as good as the Avatar one, but I thought I'd give it honorable mention.
Good, thank you. Of course, we'll make sure to share those. All right, so I guess we'll just start off with Mako's topic, if you want to describe it a little bit.
Okay, so mine was, lately Metroid Prime Remaster was shadow dropped by Nintendo, which was pretty awesome. So and there's been a lot of acclaim for it, a lot of disappointment that the physical copies have been delayed, so and stuff like that. But I've also seen a lot of back and forth on all these recent remakes and remasters because everyone was, psyched for Metroid, but then Sony announced that they're remaking The Last of Us for the third time this past decade for the PS5. And there are a lot of articles saying, why? Like, does it add anything? Of course, for full price as well. And then just today, they released another trailer for Resident Evil 4, that remake. And most people are excited, but every now and then I see a comment from someone saying, like, why? It's not that old of a game. The original's still great. So I just wanted to know what you guys thought of, like, when is a good time to make a remake or a remaster,
Yeah. Well, when did Resident Evil 4 come out again?
2005.
Oh. Since a lot of the video game player base was even born in 2005, I think it's okay to do a little remake.
Yeah.
Besides,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Also, I actually got my Metroid Prime physical copy. I ordered it from Best Buy, but I know Amazon is having troubles getting their copies out, and there's people selling copies on eBay for $100.
Yeah, and well, for me, I was just going to go to my local Target, but I called them and they said, "Oh, we have no idea. Like, those are all supposed to get here yesterday, but they're still not here." So that's when I was like, you know what, forget it. I just bought the digital.
I'm just amazed that you called Target.
Because I checked the website and it wasn't on there. So I was like, all right, I really wanted that physical copy.
I don't know, I'm just imagining like calling Walmart. It's like, hey, do you guys have 18 egg packages still left?
Yeah, that's kind of how it went.
I know it's a little different, but whatever. Um, I'll give my little ideas on that always. With another example is Grand Theft Auto 5 and Skyrim. Those are pretty well known to not ever go away, I guess. They're still great games and everything, but like they came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, I believe. And I'm pretty sure they put out Grand Theft Auto 5 for PlayStation 5 and Skyrim for PlayStation 5. And it's on the Switch. And it's on, obviously, it's on PC. It's on every single console to exist in the past decade.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, they just re-released it again.
Yeah. And those ones, I feel it's a little weird because they do up the graphics a little bit, but they're more just including it onto the new console because they know there's still such a huge player base.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Sorry. Whereas some of the other remakes, such as the Dead Space and Metroid Prime, I mean, like the Metroid Prime was on the GameCube, which I think could have graduated high school by now, of how old it is. And the Dead Space remake, it's newer than the Resident Evil 4, for that person's argument, but there's such a huge shift of what graphics are capable of being that it kind of deserves it. But also, I think people are trying to revitalize a franchise that died. Dead Space. Um, for more than one reason, which wasn't really just, but also was the fault of a company too. But that's another episode.
Yeah, I wonder who.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, if there's a demand for it, like why not? Like if there's a player base that wants it, like go for it. I kind of see like the argument against like milking something for too long, like Skyrim and Grand Theft Auto. Like those are pretty old games that have had multiple remasters and whatnot, and selling it for a bigger price. But I don't know. It's kind of nice when there's a game you really like and it gets kind of updated to like just to modern like tech and graphics. This kind of gives you an excuse to replay that property and go for it again. Kind of like the Mass Effect trilogy. I kind of wish that one got a remake actually, because I feel like they could have added a lot of cool stuff to it if they remade it nowadays. But also, I think sometimes it's better to remake something that's good rather than make a sequel that's bad. You know what I mean? Like expand upon something that's good rather than
Yeah, like you'd rather have a Dead Space remake than a crappy Dead Space 4.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, at the same time though, like there's people that's always gonna find complaints with the remake too. Like I was watching some reviews and people are nitpicking some stuff about the remake of Dead Space and like certain things here and there. And I kind of see where it's coming from, but at the same time though, it's nice to have like a breathing some like fresh life into the Dead Space franchise. So, but at the same time though, like I could see like some games overdoing it. Like I think Grand Theft Auto and Skyrim might be overdoing it a little bit, and same with Last of Us. Like they remastered it for PS4 and then they're completely remaking it. I mean, if they add new stuff to the remake for Last of Us, then it could be cool. But I don't know. then again, I'm not a huge fan of Last of Us. Maybe if I was a huge fan of The Last of Us, like when it first came out, maybe I would be down to play it again. You know, like if it was like a beloved franchise. But I started the game late. Like I only played it a couple of years ago, and I thought it was good, but didn't think it was amazing. You know, but if I was a bigger fan, I might be down for it.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, I feel like if there's something that needs to be added or fixed, that could also warrant for a remake as well. Unless they're fun glitches like in Ocarina of Time or the Pokemon or something like that. But yeah, that milking concept, it gets tiring because then because you brought up the point, Mako, like and Lemon, of having a good remaster instead of a bad sequel. And people have been waiting for a sequel for a game, but because they keep putting it out again or remastering it or remaking it, we don't get a sequel. And so it's like, oh, cool, it's the same story for the last decade. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see that with Skyrim because, you know, they instead of just making Elder Scrolls 6, they've just been re-releasing Skyrim. I think this is like the 4th time over the past decade. And then, well, you know, in Last of Us, in that one's case, I feel like it's a little bit predatory because they're trying to sell it for full price. And it's like, you know, I read a lot of reviews and videos on it, and they all said, like, oh, cool, but it doesn't add anything. It's just some nice new graphics, and that's it. So, but then on the flip side, the Dead Space remake, it like upped the graphics, it rearranged the game a bit. So there's, just from what I understood, like there's more side missions and there's more reason to backtrack and go around the ship. And, you know, on top of that, I feel like there's a good reason for doing it because this way EA can gauge if there's still interest in Dead Space. So maybe, you know, since it's so successful, maybe they'll start talking about doing the 4th one finally.
Yeah. Others have already talked about remaking number 2.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to see the sales of Dead Space remake. Actually, I'll look that up while you guys talk.
Yeah, like, well, in some cases, a remake can really add something new. Like, I'm excited. Well, you know, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, well, not so much 3, but definitely 2 were, you know, just huge hits because it took a game and completely changed the way it played and made it better. You know, the original was good, but the remake is just new graphics and over-the-shoulder camera, no more of the tank controls. You know, it's just fantastic. So that's why I'm excited for 4, because no matter what anybody says, 4 and 5 did not have good controls. So I'm excited to play through those with modern ones.
Okay, sorry, a little side note. This was at the beginning of February, so the sales have probably gone up. Especially now that more reviews are out. It was saying it only sold about half the copies of the Callisto Protocol, which I think has changed. But
Really?
yeah.
Huh. Well, the way it was, you know, talked about, I assumed it was a huge hit.
Yeah, I was watching a video about it once saying that sometimes reviews and sales don't always correlate.
Yeah.
High reviews don't always mean high sales. Like sometimes a hype can sell a lot more, but then once the hype dies, people realize it's not that great of a game. But for example, like Last of Us 2, like the reviews trashed it, but yet it was like one of the highest like selling like PS4 game or something like that. But don't quote me on that, but it's higher than what I thought. I feel bad for the Dead Space remake though, because it kind of came out right before Hogwarts Legacy, and I feel like Hogwarts Legacy kind of like overshadowed it
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And Hogwarts Legacy is also doing great, not just because it's a good game, but also like it's like pulling from like a fan base of like Harry Potter, which is like a huge like fan base and all that. So just got a lot more going for it than Dead Space, and plus Hogwarts likes appeals to a more wider audience. It's not like as intense as it's not as intense as Dead Space. So, but yeah, I thought that chimed in.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, that is a hard thing to. Just big competition can be hard to put up with sometimes. The only game I've really seen recover from that is Immortals: Phoenix Rising.
But it's not doing bad either. It's in the top 20 of sales.
Okay, I know it is doing well on Steam at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Dead Space guy has more of a cult following. I feel like it's one of those games that's like really intense that doesn't appeal to everyone. Like not everyone's going to be down to play Dead Space because it's just a really intense game with lots of intense body horror and gore, you know. So stuff that really appeals. It definitely like. Not. I was like reading some of the reviews for Hogwarts Legacy, and some people are like, I played this with my girlfriend or I played this with my kids. It's like, yeah, you don't want to do that with Dead Space as much.
Today I'm going to teach you how to be a real man, Timmy.
Right, teach you about anatomy. But then again, in college, we had like a bunch of like female friends over to play Outlast, and that's the last game I ever expect to play with a bunch of like college church women.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Good times.
Right.
All right, but that's everything for me.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks for that, and we'll move on. Lemon, would you like to introduce your topic, and then we can start discussing
Definitely. All right. So the other day, so here's a background look at this topic. I was looking at like some pictures of centaurs, and for some reason I just got really triggered, and I was just like, centaurs are weird, man. Like I don't get them. Like I don't like like it's just a weird like combination and whatnot. Like they can't really like how the heck does their spine work? There's like two sets of spines for like the human body and the horse body, and like they must have like two sets of hearts and two sets of digestion because the horse body is still intact. Like I don't know. It just I guess it's aesthetically, it looks they have to kind of like put it together that way. But like when I try thinking about like anatomy, like I'm just like, what?
anatomically.
Yeah, anatomically that way. And I don't know, just the more I thought about, it, the more triggered I got. I'm just like, wow, centaurs are stupid. Like, and like they can't run like normal horses because like they have to be like a lot slower than normal horses because of like like the human torso is going to catch a lot more wind and not going to be able to like ride into it. And I don't know, it just feels like this is an abomination of some sort.
All right,
and I'm just like, so I was just thinking, like, what are some like fantasy creatures that you guys don't vibe with or don't like, and what are your thoughts on the centaur? Because I never really, there's not really any like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of any like actual good centaur characters in any like fantasy. The only ones I can think of are Harry Potter and Narnia, but they don't really have any like good centaur characters. They're just kind of there, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
Oh no, go on.
Well, I was going to say, if you want to head way back, then there is Charon. He was a centaur. He was Hercules' trainer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually pretty tragic because he accidentally died I think Hercules accidentally shot him with Hydra poison arrows. Or no, that's the one that tried to rape his wife. Well, Charon died by accident somehow.
Dang.
So yeah, like a lot of Greek people.
Yeah,
Greek myths.
In the movie Hercules, though, it's just a random guy that he beats up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That scene was a lot different in the original. Let me tell you.
But here's a question for you guys, really quick. Did you guys ever watch Malcolm in the Middle?
No.
Not really. I think I saw one episode.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys know the actor that plays the dad that also plays Walter White.
Yeah, of course.
There's an episode where he joins like a fast walking group, and they get like super intense, and they have like body suits, and they also have like wind. What's the right term? But anyways, the aerodynamic helmets to lower the wind resistance. I'm just thinking that's what a centaur should wear. But centaurs are pretty dumb because I mean they always end at the waist, and then it's like yeah, so they have multiple hearts, multiple lungs.
I'm just picturing like a centaur gets shot through the chest and just keeps on walking. I'm like, what happened? He says, my heart is in my horse chest, not my human chest.
Right.
I can move it. But
I have two hearts.
yeah, because the human heart is definitely not strong enough to pump blood to the rest of the horse body. They wouldn't live for long if that was the case.
Oh, so I remember this just reminded me. I remember seeing a post years ago. It came with a sketch where someone was like, "You know what's weird? Centaur babies, because a human baby can't hold its head up straight, but baby horses can be sprinting around within a few minutes to a few hours. So does that mean it's like a picture of like these baby centaurs like galloping at full speed, and the human ass like dragging in the wind, like whoa."
It snapped the baby's neck.
Yeah.
Right.
They'd have to put like supports like they do in saplings.
Yeah, another curse one that reminds me of is like, do like male centaurs is their penis up attached to their male body, or is it the horse body, or do they have two sets of them?
It probably ends right before that part.
Like, yeah, it would be very child friendly. It would be very child friendly if they the other way around.
Yeah. There'd have to be the pelvis would have to be inside the horse body where you can't see it, so the muscles would go into it. Because that'd be the only because that's what holds your backs up. You have a lot of back muscles that help you stand. Um, if not, they'd be hunching over a lot. But
Huh.
yeah, they wouldn't work physically. Some drunk Greek probably just saw someone riding a horse and out of their mind. But going on to the one I don't like. So we actually talked about this a little bit in our other chat. And I originally had this one creature in mind, but I decided to change it, but I still want to mention it anyways, and it's very similar. It's the mermaids. And the reasons why I don't like the mermaids is like what's their beef? Why with humans? Like why they just see a human and be like, oh, they only got fin. That means we have to eat them. It's like I don't know. It just seems out of place. It's like you think the first thing they would do is want to communicate with something that kind of looks like them, instead of just decide I'm just going to eat them. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like the ones in Peter Pan versus the ones in The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they all make nice by the end of The Little Mermaid. They're like, oh, we're not so different. We just live in different places. And then meanwhile in Peter Pan, one of them's like, all we did was try to drown her. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
They're really casual about murder on Neverland. I've noticed rewatching that movie.
yeah. I don't know. You think they would probably start doing a trading system or something like that, but whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
no,
one
people
thing.
or people on land have plenty of reasons to hate each other, no matter what. So I can see that being just a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I'll let you talk about it, Mako, because unless you decide to have a different one than what we talked about last time, and then I'll probably just talk about it then. But there's another creature, but I'll let you sell yours.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. This one's the one I mentioned was kind of more like a love-hate thing. So it's a cool design, but I think it's really messed up. I remember reading about this old Mayan Aztec legend about a monster. Do not remember the name of it. Apparently, it shows up in My Little Pony at some point for some reason.
What?
Oh yeah, like one of the villains is this monster, whatever it's called.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I'll look
Yeah,
it up.
but the idea is that it's kind of a dog-looking thing, I think, but it has a long tail and a hand on the end of the tail, kind of like Apom, the Pokemon. So,
Okay.
but what it does is it makes a crying noise like a baby to lure people over to its lair, which is usually in a pool of water. And then it'll jump out and grab them and drag them under the water and drown them so it can eat their teeth and fingernails. Now I remember why it makes me mad. It's, first of all, crying babies kind of messed up. Second of all, that's so wasteful.
Oh.
Like, I know you got to make ends meet, but it's like, really? Just the teeth and the fingernails? I mean, I'll
Yeah.
throw my clippings in the pool for free.
Yeah. If you're gonna eat someone, you might as well eat it all. Such wasteful.
Yeah, right. It is kind of a cool idea. Like, it is creepy, so it kind of makes it cool in a way. Nowadays, I think it would actually work because they could just feed it all the baby teeth from the tooth fairy. I mean, she's not going to use it for anything.
No, but this is a weird phrase to say out loud.
I know.
Okay, I have no idea which one.
Then again, you never know. Maybe the Tooth Fairy is working for that creature. Maybe in the
Oh.
cahoots.
Yeah, that's a good point. They just collect for him.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't think of the name. Anyways, I thought we were talking about a different one. I remember you talking about that one now. Um, but the one I was originally thinking of was goblins.
Oh, oh yeah. I do hate goblins.
Yeah. Um, I mean, Goblin Slayer really emphasized of how much they can hate goblins.
Well, and then of course we've been playing Valheim lately, and the goblins are like one of the worst things you can fight.
Yeah, the Fullings. I think Fulling is the actual name. I don't even know if it's a real thing or not, or if they just made it up.
Yeah, and then I've been reading Lord of the Rings lately, and goblins are complete scumbags in that.
Yeah, I guess with goblins for me though, it's kind of like a love to hate. Like they're like kind of like a cannon fodder, or like what's the word? Not cannon fodder. Yeah, cannon fodder for like the main story. Like you need some baddies for the heroes to go just wipe out without even feeling remorse. So you just create them. So it's kind of nice to have them in stories like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing though is there's just such a wide, and it's weird to say there's like a wide variety of goblins in either different series. Such as Lord of the Rings, they are that cannon fodder, very easy to kill, but they also be a threat if there's a bunch of them. And then you get goblins in another anime. Um, I can't remember. Oh, when I was reincarnated as a slime, the goblins are as monsters, but they're very human-like. Um, they have the same thought processes. And they farm, they defend themselves. They're just like a green human with sharp teeth.
Kind of like the orcs on Skyrim.
Yeah, yeah. They're just another race that you can converse with, essentially. Yeah, you might have to fight them, but they're not that crazy. And then you get into some cases of D&D, and then where I mentioned a Goblin Slayer, some really of the old traditional type goblins, where they're like 4 feet, 3.5 foot, whatever, gangbangers essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they're also very scummish because they take advantage of everything they can, the poisoning, strapping their victims on shields, raping, and it just really pisses me off. I don't like races that rape. Like, um,
Are there other races that rape?
yeah, we were just talking about it. Why can't I think the name? Centaurs
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and dolphins. Screw dolphins, but those are real.
yeah. I was gonna say dolphins actually.
I just hate dolphins. Um,
Yeah, the centaurs at least kind of behave themselves as long as they don't get drunk. That's when they get kind of rapey.
Yeah, depending on the lore as well. There are some strange cases of centaurs, but yeah, traditionally they don't. And oh man, it just makes me want to. I don't like them. But yeah, those are mine.
I think I also don't like I think it's called the gelatinous cube or the slime or whatever.
Oh, the ones that have like skeletons in themselves.
Yeah. Like
That
in some
digest.
cases, yeah. Like I hate that whole concept of being sucked in and just slowly digested. I mean, that's horrible. That's, the blob in a nutshell.
Hmm.
It's also just kind of a dumb design. Like it's just a jello cube with skeletons in it. I mean, sometimes that can be kind of cute if the animation's done right, but
Which stories has the cube?
Well,
uh
it's in RuneScape.
Uh,
So
yeah, I think it's in D&D.
yeah.
And I remember there was this fun little game on my phone called Tiny Heroes where you had to build a
Oh yeah,
dungeon.
yeah.
Oh, you know that one?
I heard. I know. I never played it though.
Yeah, it's off the App Store now. Can't find it anymore. But yeah, you could put down little gelatinous cubes that would patrol the hallways and like try to eat people, but they're all, just tiny and cute.
I think.
So,
Well, it's kind of also in Valheim to a sort.
oh,
It's
the
the
blobs.
giant. Yeah, the giant ooze monster, the boss. But that's like an extravagant version of one.
yeah, well, that one's kind of cool because, his face is made out of skeletons and stuff like that. Like, he's kind of metal.
No. Also, a little sidetrack. I actually like the music from the fifth boss fight. That's enough.
Oh, is that the one we just got?
Yeah, that's the one we just finished.
Yeah, that was good boss music.
Oh yeah, the heavy metal. That was pretty cool.
Okay. But if there's nothing else, that's all I have for that topic.
Yeah, that's all. Well,
Yeah.
actually, another thing I thought of centaurs too is like, how do they, if their arms just like the same length of or same length, like how do they like? Are they able to like scratch themselves? Or, like, when not, are they able to like reach the rest of their body?
Oh, gosh, dang, that would suck. Having
How
it
Yeah, I
do,
like
imagine.
on your back.
how do horses scratch themselves?
They usually go against like a tree or something, I think.
Oh.
They like roll around on the ground, but how centaurs do that? Would they even like be able to sleep? But yeah,
They probably sleep. Oh, wait. Well, horses can sleep standing up or lying on their side, so it might be like that.
Yeah, they're probably like on their side.
yeah,
Lay against a tree, maybe.
yeah. Yeah, that's all I have for that topic. Just yes, I could roast centaurs quite a bit, but yeah, that's all I got for now.
Okay, cool. All right. We'll finish with my topic then. Uh, mine is in the same realm as Mako's, but a little different. Um, it's not really that deep of a topic, but I kind of want to talk to you guys about it because I don't think I have before. But it's about emulators or just emulation in general. Um, just to clarify, both of you know what emulators are, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just your general thoughts, opinions. Do you like them? Do you think they should be around? Have you used them? All that type of good fun stuff.
I mean, technically, like they're against the law in some ways, I guess. But to me, though, like there's some cases like where there's some games that are just not available to play. Like you can't. There's some games you just can't find legally. Like there's some games that are not being produced anymore. So I don't really see why it would be wrong to like use emulation for those because like it's not like the company that produces is making money off it anymore. So it's like why not? And plus, a lot of these games are really old and not being sold anymore. So it's like why not there? And you can also tweak it and add mods to old games as well.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. Like, I do think they should be around because there are just sometimes you can't get a game any other way. Like, I used an emulator to play the old Alien versus Predator beat 'em up. So it's a really fun game, but you know, you can't get it anywhere. Like knowing Capcom, they'd be up for re-releasing it, but I'm guessing 20th Century Fox and well, maybe Disney would play ball, but 20th Century Fox just wouldn't do it. So, but I mean, it's a really fun game. So I'm glad I got to emulate it. My only issue with emulators is that it's hard to find one that I feel comfortable trusting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, I do want to play these older games, like, you know, that I can't get anymore. Like, my sister and I used an emulator to play, what's it called? Oh, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. So, and my buddy was using it to play Wind Waker because he couldn't get a GameCube or that game, a physical copy of Wind Waker.
They're tough to find.
Yeah. Well, and like, I'd love to play Radiant Dawn, you know, the Fire Emblem game on the Wii, but those sell for, I think I saw one for like $1,000 at one point.
Yeah, and the sad thing is like when I was first looking at it, it was like what, $40 on eBay
Yeah.
or something. I'm like, thank it. Let's see how much is it now. $200.
200.
Oof.
And then there's a couple that are sealed or and graded. It's 9.8. They want $1,200 for it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly that. Like, it's a great game and I want to play it, but I'm not paying $1,000 for it, and Nintendo won't re-release it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, emulator is the only way to go at this point.
You can get a Japanese one for 30.
If I could change the language, that'd be acceptable.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, that brings up the other topic. It's like there's some games that are still, for some reason, only in one language. It still hasn't received international translations. And
Yeah.
I don't know 15 languages. I only know 2. And uh, there's fan translations, and you can actually play them. Talking about some of the Fire Emblem games.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if I could play Sacred Stones.
But another thing that I've read people talking about is very similar to what you guys are saying. You know, they're just not selling the games anymore. And for example, it's like some games that were on the PlayStation 3 that you're not going to see again. But it's like I want to play them, but you're not letting me buy it anymore because the store's down on you're not on the server because it's an old console, which makes sense. But it's like,
Yeah.
but I want to play it, and there's literally no other way to do it other than hopefully someone in the nearby 50-mile radius has a copy that I could borrow, or I emulate it.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of time. And from a business perspective, I can see why I do not like emulators, obviously. But I love you, Nintendo. But your guys are very sticklers when it comes to prices of games, especially of your own IPs. It's like they're only 60, and that's the only price they're going to be for 5 years
Yeah.
or longer. I think Breath of the Wild finally went down to $40 on the store because number 2 is coming out.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if that's why it's number 2 in the digital store again.
Yeah, that's why. And then Metroid Prime, the remaster's $40. But that's because it's 13, going to be 13 years old this year. Or no, it's more than that. It came out in 2001 or 2002.
Wow.
Yeah, it's over 2 decades old. And so I'm very glad that they came out with that remaster. And so you don't have to emulate anymore. But I mean, I know people with hundreds, some there's actually a patient I worked with. I think he said it was over 1,000 games to emulate. But
Oh, I believe it.
yeah,
Dang.
I don't know. I've always been a stickler about emulators as well for a while, because I think in a previous episode, I think it was the last one or the one before that, we talked about hard copy versus digital, and I've always been a hard copy type person. And like your buddy there, Mako, that emulated Wind Waker, like I have a hard copy of Wind Waker, and but I can see why people would emulate it in the first place. Because there's only the GameCube version and the Wii U version, which we know how the Wii U is, and it's still not on the Switch. But
Yeah, and at this point, it may not ever be.
yeah, we'll see. They're putting out some of the old Game Boy games of Minish Cap, which any listeners who haven't played it, highly recommend. Super fun game.
Oh yeah, that was my first one. Love it.
Um, they may add GameCube later on, so they may have them on there. But
That's
as
true.
a remake, I don't know. They're it's weird because there's so all these remakes are by different studios that put it out. Sorry, um, that put it out on those consoles, the Xbox and the Switch and PlayStation. I mean, sorry, not the Switch. But Nintendo, they do have their own uh, studios, but I feel like a lot of them just only work for Nintendo, and so they take turns to do remakes instead of a bunch of them could be doing remakes. But
Yeah.
sorry, I'm going off the topic. Any other thoughts about them?
Funnily enough, one of the selling points I saw for the Xbox X is that apparently, if you can hack it into going into developer mode, you can then use it to play emulators. So there's been people playing the original God of War, their Xbox,
Oh, dang.
yeah, just
That's
emulating all these old PlayStation games.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. I guess like our message is, hey, if you guys just put the games on sale, we'll buy them. But if not, we're just going to emulate them.
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot as well. It's like we want to, maybe not $60, but we want to. We'll have to talk about the $70 price tag another time.
Yeah,
I kind of want to talk to you guys about that. How games are becoming $70 instead of 60.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is
it's kind
that?
of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I remember, crap. I remember buying the original Lego Star Wars for $30 on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
So it's just, inflation and the cost of all these new, bigger games. But sorry, that's like the whole part of our discussion we can have later.
Yeah. No, maybe we could talk about that next time. I don't know, because I feel like some of them are. I understand that it's more expensive to make some stuff, but it should also be a lot easier to make some stuff too, because they have these things, all these programs. It's like you don't need to buy a new program every time you make a new game, so it's like you should be fine. But whatever. All right. Any final notes before we finish here?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think I'm all good.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'm glad we're able to have some actual conversation. And again, just like always, if you feel like there's a topic you want us to discuss, feel free to mention it to us if you know us personally or in a comment. Um, And feel free to like and subscribe. We always appreciate it. But I mean, I really, okay, I can't vouch for you two, but I feel like our main priority is just to have some fun, because this is what we did before, and we're not in the same apartment anymore, so we mostly do this for fun. But I'm okay with revenue.
I'll take what I can get.
Thanks for joining, and hope to hear from you guys soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.